This is a video I really did not want to make, but I'm gonna make it because I'm down on One Piece right now. This game's in a bad spot. It's in a bad spot, and even with Oda's involvement in this game, and even with the popularity it has because of the IP, I could see this game dying so quickly. It's actually really scary, and this video is not going to do anything for Bandai, so it doesn't really matter. But we'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys about you know why I think the way I do. So right now we have so we'll talk about triggers, we'll talk about removal, and we'll talk about balancing, right? Because those are the three things I'm down on. I don't think they're going to be able to fix all of them. I don't even think they're going to be able to fix any of them in a healthy way, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, we'll start with triggers. So triggers, obviously everyone knows they're annoying as hell. They're in any given yellow deck are 32 to 38 really good triggers that could just pop off at any given time the second you attack into their life. Any yellow player's life. Those cards can also just completely change the game and how they're played. Um so I don't know, someone do the math on that. That's a really high, with 4 or 5 life, there's a really high chance you're going to get probably like 3 to 4 triggers every single game. And not only are those triggers massively impactful, and now some of them are you can even play for free, like Okiku and Nekomamushi. You can play them for free if your opponent meets a certain condition. Like, not only is that unhealthy, but it just makes the game even more RNG than you could ever even imagine. Um, and I don't like that. I don't like that. All card games are RNG, right? Because you shuffle your cards and then you play the game, right? And I'm okay with drawing a bad hand and losing and be like, okay, there's nothing I can do. But like attacking into my opponent's life and having to play around 19 different cards in one attack, right? In one turn I have to play around 19 different cards. That's just bad. That's not good. And it makes me down on the game. Like, there's so many, like, oh my god, there's Okiku, Sanji, Cracker, Perospero, Nekomamushi, the zero cost event that lets you gain life, Amaru that lets you gain life, um, Beige, Satori, um, Thunderbolt, Reject. Now obviously it has a trigger, but usually it's just activate main. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing here. Onami. Um, is there anything else I'm missing here? Oh, and the new promo Zoro. Those are all cards that people realistically play in their deck, and sometimes they play every single one of them. That's not good. That's really really like doom and gloom for me, because like I don't like attacking into someone's life and just losing because I have to attack into them. If I don't attack into them, then I lose. And if I attack into them, I still lose sometimes. That to me just is like it makes me just yeah. So those are triggers. Obviously, how you balance that is some type of anti-trigger, some type of, I don't even know, like take away triggers, honestly. I mean, like, that's what Fusion World does. Um but even if they do some type of anti-trigger, there's so many triggers that like you can't take away all the triggers, right? So like you're gonna have to like still, I think they should make it so like you can only get triggers if they're face up, like something like the Three Brothers is doing. Like, if you have a face up life, activate this effect or something. That's the only way I think I'd be okay with triggers being that impactful. I'm okay with triggers like if Amaru was the only trigger, that would totally be fine. Because Amaru, like, I don't like triggers that play themselves. Like, there's too many triggers that literally play themselves. I'm okay with triggers like gaining life, because it's like whatever, right? If you're just gaining life, that's totally fine. But being able to be super offensive while being very willy-nilly with the life that you have, just to me just doesn't make any sense. Like, there's like, you just constantly lose for trying to win, and that to me sucks. I don't think they're going to be able to fix it. Like I said, they need some type of anti-trigger. We could usually see like a set and a half in advance, and there's like not really anything that can fix that's fixing it right now. I don't even know if they know it's a problem. Like their ban list like hits reject, but reject's like it's good, but it's not even the worst like thing. It's like Onami is insanely broken, and then you have obviously 10 cost Big Mom that's insane, and like Beige and Amaru. Like these cards are all like ridiculously good. And then we'll move on to removal. So as you guys know, I'm a Sakazuki player, right? But I personally don't really like Sakazuki as much as I would like to play other like other decks. If you guys, I mean, you guys don't know this obviously, but I used to play a lot of Hearthstone. I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, and when I played those games, um, I played control decks in Yu-Gi-Oh mostly, either control decks or like super heavy like combo decks like Six Samurai or something like that, because those are always like fun for me, right? In Hearthstone, I played a lot of like Secret Mage. I played a lot of like No Minion Mage. I played like Taunt Warrior. I played like Overload Shaman. So just stuff like that. Like those were like control decks as well. The reason I like those is because like they were fair, right? Like Sakazu, and the reason I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh is because Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't fair, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh, you would just set up like these things called floodgates. For those guys who don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, floodgates are basically like something that stops your opponent from like playing the game at all. There's a card called Summon Limit, where you can only summon 2 characters per turn, which in One Piece that's like okay, most people only summon at most like 1 or 2, but in Yu-Gi-Oh you summon probably 25 characters per turn, or monsters per turn. And there's like cards that literally like lock your opponent out from playing the game. I don't like that at all. And it seems like we're getting to that point with removal with One Piece as well, where it's like every deck has like, or not every deck, but every meta deck has just like on spot removal for every single like thing that you have. Like play against Perona, and Perona will have like Ryuma into X Drake, into Brook, into Gecko Moria, into Doflamingo. Like they just have a lot of tools. Playing the Sakazuki, obviously they have like all the bottom deck, they have all the KO stuff. And then, if you're not playing removal, well now you have to play against, if you're playing basically triggers. And if you're not playing either one of those, you basically just can't compete in the format. Because if you're playing something like Red Purple Law, you might be able to do really good into something like Katakuri because you can rush it down. But now like, and probably Enel too, because like obviously a bunch of 5Ks, but Enel can still beat Red Purple Law, don't get me wrong. But now you play against something like Gecko or Perona or Sakazuki, where like if they have the removal, there's literally nothing you can do. I was playing a game of Red Purple Law the other day, and I played against a buddy of mine who's playing Perona, and like for like 4 turns in a row, I was like, anything I play is just dead. Like I'll play like a Beppo, and then they rest it and then attack into it, and then if I let it go, they play Kuzan. If I don't let it go, they punish me and play Ryuma, right? And then same thing with X Drake, right? It's like they just have constant removal for everything. And I'm like, dude, like I literally can't play the game. Um, so yeah, like the balance for that, I don't know what can like I don't know at this point what can balance all of these things, right? Because like if you balance the bottom decking, like they have to do it all at once, right? Because they can't balance the triggers because bottom decking will become like way too broken because it goes unopposed. They can't, and obviously vice versa for bottom decking because triggers will go way unopposed. So like they have to address it all at once. And right now I see literally nothing to I see nothing that like gives me the feeling that they actually think that this is a problem. And dog, like I legit like want to play like other games right now because it's just like it feels terrible to play. Like this game feels terrible to play like half the time because like you'll have those games where like you're playing against like someone that like you think is pretty good, right? And like you guys go back and forth and toe to toe, and that's fun. Like that's obviously the fun part of One Piece. And then you'll go into a tournament where like half of the people you play are just like taking life and just hoping it's something good. And that is so fucking annoying to me. I was playing Enel the other day on stream, and I literally for the first like 5 life I took, I didn't even think about like if I should take it or not. And I won like all of those games. I beat like Purple Luffy, I beat like Sakazuki, I beat my screen just turned black, but I beat all of these decks, and I wasn't even thinking. Like legitimately, like I think I only had to think like one time to counter out of like a 6K attack. I was like, Do I counter out this one? Yes. Okay. And then that's it. That was my entire like thought process the entire game. It was so easy and simple. But at the same time, like I don't want to play decks that like stop your opponent from playing the game like Sakazuki or Perona. I think like what I like is like a balanced like back and forth game. This is why I really liked set 4.5. It's because like yeah, of course I played Crocodile, but you know, and Crocodile obviously bottom decked a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't like mass bottom deck. It wasn't mass KO. Like you really had to like pick your spots, like what you needed to remove, and then like even sometimes you couldn't even remove anything because like you had to like do something else. You had to play like you know Senamaru or something like that. And also I really like set one when it was like the Kid Mirror because like it wasn't a removal. It was just straight up like I'm gonna fight for resources and then whoever wins, right? At least that's how I kind of how I interpreted it. um but yeah, so that's what did I say? I said it was triggers, I said it was removal, and then I said it was just balancing in general, right? Yeah, so balancing, every card that we see, not every card, but a lot of the cards that we see that are coming out are just like they're not, imagine like a puzzle, right? You have like all of these pieces and they all connect somehow and fit together. One Piece is not building cards that make a puzzle whole. They're like putting a bunch of end pieces and then they're putting some middle pieces and then they're putting like and then they're making a whole new puzzle and putting pieces over there and then they're like, "Oh, actually this puzzle might be kind of decent if you combine it with this one, but not really." And then they, you know, they take that second puzzle and they split that off into a third puzzle, and you have a really disconglomerate like card base. Is disconglomerate the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's 3 in the morning right now, so um, I don't know for sure, but they're not making archetypes like how you see in like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, where like you know a lot of these like trainer cards or a lot of these like in obviously in Yu-Gi-Oh like the archetypes, these cards worked in synergy with like certain things, and like very rarely do the cards come out that actually like work really well with like things that already exist. Like pretty much I talked about this in like another video with I think VB theory, but all of these games like or all of these like previous leaders are just dead in the water. There's like a few that can compete, but I'm trying to think of a deck before set 3 that is even semi-relevant right now. And the only deck in set 3 that's relevant is Katakuri because the triggers are just fucking out of this world. So I don't know. Like I think like they're not like how I thought the game was gonna go was like in set one, obviously we had like the supernovas, we had like the warlords of the sea, we had the straw hats. I thought basically what was gonna happen is they were gonna add like a couple new leaders, but like all the leaders that like they added, they would like just like boost the color pool to like work with all those leaders. And then maybe even in the like maybe even in set 3, you know, after they boosted like all the leaders for set like 1 and 2 and gave them support, set 3 you gave them like another way of playing like that color, right? So like for example, like you can play aggro but like in a different way. Like maybe it's like aggro like a burn deck or something like that. Or you know, you can play mid-range but like in a different way with like a different, you know, group of characters, right? So like you know every set you build upon, okay, we had like 1 or 2 sets or even 3 sets of like building upon like the supernova engine and the warlord engine and you know vice, you know, whatever it is. Now okay, we can release some new leaders, and you know people only I wish they would only release a couple leaders every single like every other set or something like that. But releasing new leaders every set, they literally just like they have to print cards that like sometimes like fit with those leaders at least in some ways, and some of the leaders are fucking terrible. like like um like Hody Jones is a deck that like has like no support. It like has a couple like Fishmen and like Merfolk or whatever, but like it just isn't like there's not enough to like consider it like its own standalone deck. It basically is playing like half like the just generically good green cards and then like a couple Fishman cards. Like these cards are not fitting together. And like they just keep releasing new leaders every single time that like can like play just like generic like 25 to 30 of like the best cards from like the previous sets, but like it's just like with a different leader effect. It's like the same thing over and over again. It's actually really bad. It's really bad that like I don't expect them to like make any of the old decks relevant. Of course, like the EBO1 set, or I'm sorry, the EBO1 uh yeah, set is going to like try to support the old leaders, but like if you think about it, the best thing that they're going to support is red purple law, which came out in set 4. So like they're pretty like all the other decks are by the wayside, right? Like of course like it gives Crocodile some like Blurple Crocodile some type of support, but not really, right? It gives red green law like some type of support, but not really. Like it's just like I think it's just too late, dude. Like I don't want to sound like a doomer, but it feels fucking terrible to play. And like I'm pretty low on like I'm pretty bearish on the future of this game. And I'm going to start kind of checking out some of the other games and just seeing, what they're like, maybe look back into Flesh and Blood, maybe look into Fusion World, because right now these trigger like I just don't see an end to like the bullshit that's going on in this game. And I'll still make videos cuz I obviously like this is like something I'm like, one, it's my job. Um and then two, like I want to see this game succeed. Like I have the law tattoo on my hand. Like I love the franchise that is One Piece. But I don't like, one, not being able to get product. I don't like the balancing of this game. I don't like the triggers of this game. I don't like how they're treating removal. There's a lot of things that are making me very like skeptical about like like investing a lot of like time into this game in the future. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I've just had like a really bad night, and all these like negative thoughts in my head are just something that like just came from like me losing a bunch on the rank simulator today by like a bunch of bullshit basically. I hope I am wrong, but I don't know. Like logically, like this is something I've been thinking about for like the past like month or two of like, like, oh, this is unfair, this is unbalanced, this is blank, this is blank. And like this is just like the video of me just like complaining about it. And I know it probably is like, you know, like probably like who gives a fuck, right? But, I'm hoping like someone in Bandai sees this, like someone that's making decisions sees this game, or I'm sorry, sees this video and just like listens to what I have to say. And I'm not saying to cater the game around me. I know people are gonna be like, "You're just bitching because shut the fuck up, dude." I'm not asking them to cater the game around me. I'm asking them to take a very hard look at this game and like trying to figure out if the stuff that they're doing right now is hurting or helping the game. And in my opinion, as someone who has played card games on and off for pretty much my entire 25 years of existence, right? Like ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old, I've been playing some type of card game, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering a little bit, Hearthstone, a little bit of Vanguard, like did I say Pokemon? I don't remember. But, I've been playing games for a long time, and just seeing what's happening right now is giving me pause. And I am a person that wants to be optimistic. So the people that are not even invested in this game, they might actually be turned off to what they're seeing. And I hope that I hope they can fix that, because yeah. Yeah. That's the end of this video, guys. Thanks for listening to me complain. Peace.